I was just like, oh, I want to do that. When can I do that? And they were like, no, you're too small. Your bones are too small. Wait until you're 10. But there was a judge and he was like, you should apply for the GB team. I mean, I still get nervous. Like the Island Games, I was still nervous. I was like, but it was a different kind of nervous. It wasn't like, oh, this is my first competition. It was more like, oh, there's a lot of pressure for me to win this. When I was 15, I got selected for my first ever senior competition. And then it's like, oh, come on, for Guernsey, like, come on, get 2 golds. All the time, like any trip I was like, yeah, it was good, I did well, but I've like, oh, I have no friends, like all the adults don't like me. And it was really difficult as like a, 15, 16, 17-year-old, whatever, to kind of get through that. That's the goal. Get back on the GB team, go for world champs, go for European champs.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Sportscast Jersey. Today we are joined by local archer Lucy O'Sullivan. How are you doing today, Lucy?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. Not too bad at all. I always start with the same question for all my guests. Have you always been sporty since a young age?
No. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking back at pictures from when I was at primary school, and I realized that I had a really good running technique. And I was like, oh, why did I not go into running? But I would say I'm more a sprinter than a runner. Based on my body type, but no, I've never really been into sports, but my dad used to do archery, and basically if anyone in your family does archery, you're going to do archery. And those little kids sets that you lick the end of the arrows and you shoot at the windows, that's where I started. That's my sporting that's me, that's my start, my origin story. And it kind of went on from there. I moved to Jersey when I was 10. I was from Dorset, and my dad was from Jersey. And when we moved over here, he was like, right, you're 10, you're allowed to shoot now, because the bows can be quite strong. And I guess that is my sporting lifestyle. But it annoys me that everyone does think that archery is not really a sport. But so as soon as I started doing better, then I realized I had to actually get sporty. I started training, started doing press ups, started doing chin ups, started running. So it was kind of the other way for me.
Definitely. Do you remember, obviously you mentioned your dad there, do you remember watching him do archery, take part in archery, and thinking, that's cool, I want to do that?
Yeah, like for real. So I remember probably one of my earliest memories is that my mum would take my sister and I to it was this beautiful kind of manor in Dorset, and that's where dad's competitions were. So, and I remember it's just like a really, really young child, like going up this beautiful driveway, and then you kind of get onto the sports field in front of this like manor, and they were all there, and they're like, because back in the day for archery competitions you had to wear white or forest green, and but for some reason it actually in my head looked incredibly smart and beautiful and elegant, and I was just like, oh, I want to do that. When can I do that? And they were like, no, you're too small, your bones are too small, wait until you're 10. So weird.
Were you a natural as soon as you started at that age, 10, whatever age you started, and did it come naturally to you?
I mean, and I was terrible. I was really bad. No, no, because my sister and I, we got taught by my dad, and like he was very good at the sort of you know, you have to like good posture, look, you know, look really nice and tall when you're shooting. And I guess we're just really lucky that we're good at aiming. And I wasn't very good at the Olympic archery, which is called the recurve bow. My little sister used to beat me all of the time, and I was like, "That's it, I'm done. I'm done. I'm terrible at archery. I'm done." And my dad goes, "Well, you do realize there's this thing called the compound bow. Why don't we just get you a little tiny baby one, and then see how you get on?" And then I think that year, my sister was the Channel Island champion for the recurve, and I was the Channel Island champion for the compound for the juniors. So
Amazing. Amazing.
So cool.
We'll come on to explaining what compound and recurve and what the differences are in a minute, but I want to touch on you and your sister there. Was there much rivalry, or was it very friendly? Well done, well done.
Do you know what? I was really lucky because we're different. We were different bow categories. Yeah. It was always like more of a supportive thing. So I was like, "Come on, I really want you to do well." And I hope she felt the same. But yeah, that's the great thing about if you've got. So obviously, if you're the same sex, then you shoot against each other. But if you're a different bow category, then there's no problem. So yeah. It saved it saved many arguments at home, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about compound and recurve for those who might not be archery experts or might not watch much archery. What's the key differences between the two?
So I'm guessing a lot of people have seen archery at the Olympics. I'm hoping. I'm trying to get it popular. So with the recurve bows, it's kind of like the Robin Hood bow, or the more traditional bow, but obviously with technology. So you know, like a car, the original car, and now what do cars look like now? So with the Robin Hood bows, what do the bows look like now? It's the Olympic guys. That's the technology of bows. So they're sort of like an aluminium cast handle. They've got like kind of, I think they shoot carbon, aluminium, all kinds of materials into the limbs, and basically they're more like arced. They've got one string, and when you pull that back, that is like the full pressure. So it's like really, 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 really hard. You hold, it's really, really, really hard, and then you let go. It's like quite a short sort of shot. And then came along rocket ships, which is the compound. So the Americans designed a sort of hunting bow. It's got like cams or wheels on the top and bottom of the limbs. It's similar, but with the wheels you have a string and two kind of cables. So as soon as you pull back, it's really, really, really hard, and as soon as it goes over the wheels, it's like easy. So and you can hold that not all day, but you can hold there for a lot longer, which help people with hunting. But it means you have to be more accurate. So it's a much more accurate shot. The scores have to be higher, and and now it's kind of come along so much that we're trying to get into the Olympics. So everything crossed that compound archery gets into the Olympics.
Yeah, definitely amazing. Do you remember your first competition? How were you going into it? Were you nervous? Were you excited?
I can't even remember my first competition. I'm pretty sure my first competition was with a recurve bow. They did the interinsular between Jersey and Guernsey, and we'd shoot it. I think it was up at the Granville Cricket Ground. That's the earliest competition I can remember, but it was more an interinsular, and I was a recurve. I don't think I was very good, to be honest, but it was nice. And I remember I've actually got a picture from the JP, and it's in black and white because I'm that old. But it's me, like they had a shoot at Granville, then they had a shoot in the woods at Crabbe. So I kind of did that with a recurve bow. And then with compound, when I moved, I did the same competition, but obviously I was better with the
Yeah,
compounds.
yeah,
And then because my scores were quite good, in archery, you have these things that you can try and achieve, like badges for scores. So um, I wanted my first badge, and you had to go to like an official competition. So we went to a shoot in Bournemouth, back where I was born, well, Poole area, and yeah, I wanted that 1,000 points badge.
yeah,
I got it on that first shoot,
yeah.
like my first
Amazing.
sort of like proper like feature shoot. And then there was a judge, and he was like, "You should apply for the GB team."
Yeah,
And I did, and you had to write a handwritten note of why you think you should be selected, and you posted it. And then we got a letter in the post back saying, "Congratulations, you're on the GB squad."
yeah, yeah. Amazing. You were so young. Well, when you made that squad, what was that feeling like? What was the first experiences like as well?
Oh, it was that. I think that was nerve wracking, because that was the first sort of time that you're not competing, you're trying to like learn from actual professionals and other kids that are equally as good as you. You know, you think in Jersey, you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm the best in Jersey, I'm the best in the Channel Islands." And then you go to England and you're like, "Oh, I'm really average."
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, it was like quite a wake up. It was like, right, you're not the best. Like, you need to work hard. You need to do press ups. You need to, 14, you need to do chin ups. You need to, oh, was I 13? Oh goodness, I can't remember. It was a while ago. But
yeah,
it was like, it was trying to get into the mind of being an actual athlete and being like, look, if you want to do well, you need to beat these guys. You need to get your scores. You need to be on the team. And then, yeah, the rest of that sort of summer after those training camps, I was chasing scores. So you had to get 12,000 points or something in a competition to actually, and you had to get that 3 times to get on the actual GB
yeah,
competition squad. So yeah, we go all over the country just trying to chase scores. I mean, it's similar now, basically. They've changed the whole rounds, but yeah, the next year I'm going to be chasing scores exactly the same as I did when I was, 13, 14 years old.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, that must bring pressure. And obviously, you've got to be quite steady to be an archer. So, how do you cope with nerves? How do you keep that steady? Obviously, you might some people shake when they're nervous. So,
um,
yeah,
yeah,
how do you control that?
it's experience.
Yeah,
It's definitely experience. I think that the older I've got, the better I've got. I mean, I'm still not the best at it. I've done a lot of work with sports psychologists about confidence and uh, anxiety management. There's looking at science, looking into breath work. That and you just pick up sort of tips from more experienced people. um but I think, I mean, I still get nervous. Like the Island Games, I was still nervous. I was like, but it was a different kind of nervous. It wasn't like, oh, this is my first competition. It was more like, oh, there's a lot of pressure for me to win this.
yeah,
So the nerves, I think, of what you put on yourself. um but there are some competitions that you just go out and you don't think about it, and you just have like the best day. And you're chilling, and usually it's sunny, hopefully.
yeah,
English weather, could be raining. But yeah, it just, they say like you get in your bubble. And when it comes naturally, I was chatting to some of the long distance guys for the runners at the
yeah,
Island Game, and they were saying the same. There's some days where it just feels like your running feels cyclical, almost like a bicycle, but there's some days where you feel like you're actually treading on the ground. And it's kind of the same with archery. There's some days when you're like, it's really hard to like even pull back the bow and to aim. It's difficult. And then there are some days where it's just like, did I even shoot? Like, that was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
So yeah, obviously you want to try and get into that kind of mindset of the latter. But yeah, it's a lot of work with sports psychologists and stuff. So
yeah,
and practice, always practice.
yeah, definitely, definitely. What are your highlights or are your highlights with the GB team up to now, and what really stands out to you?
That are so many. So back when I was shooting, there weren't that many women compound archers. Compound, obviously, it's the kind of more traditionally hunting bow. So more men used to shoot it, I think, not so much women. So they were kind of struggling with a team. And when I was 15, I got selected for my first ever senior competition. And I'm not saying it's to make up numbers, but it probably was to make up numbers. So you needed 3 women to make a team. And yeah, I went there, absolutely no expectations. It was the first year of the World Cups, which is still running to this day. It's like the biggest kind of world archery thing that you can do. And yeah, at 15 years old, to go to El Salvador and shoot at a World Cup was eye-opening. It was insane. My parents were like, bye, see you later, get on a plane, they'll meet you in Heathrow. And I was like, okay, cool, I hope someone meets me in Heathrow. You know, the team there, that, you know, they're wearing their shirts, so you're like, okay, good, fine, I can spot them. And it was insane. We came, the GB girls, myself, Nicola Simpson, and Emma Parker at the time, we came second. We came second at that competition, and I was just like an add-on, like, and that team to come second at a World Cup for GB, it was absolutely insane. So that's like a top memory. I also came third in the world, which is like huge. That was in Mexico. Again, when I was younger. I don't think it was that expected. But yeah, to come third in the world was huge. And I was shooting a Hoyt bow at the time, and they have been like essential to my archery, because I've shot with that company ever since. I just think that because I'm quite short, they tend to make bows that are for shorter people, and just it was a start of an amazing kind of thing with them. God, what else? We've won team World Cups. We've come second in World Cups in the teams. In the senior world champs, I've come top 20 like many times. Just
does all this success just spur you on, or spur you on to improve more and carry on to be at the top of the game?
For sure. Like, so let's just think about Island Games. My first games, I was at uni. It was 2011. So yeah, I was 21. So it was quite late in my archery career to start an Island Games. But I only got 1 gold medal and 1 silver medal individually, because there was a girl from the Isle of Man who always got that other gold. So she'd get 1 gold, I'd get 1 gold. And then, you know, in Jersey, same thing happened. And then it's like, oh, come on, for Guernsey, like, come on, get 2 golds. So, you know, I think, you know, every time you don't do that well, I mean, second is still good, right? But as an athlete, you're like, I want more. Yeah. And it's the same with the World Championships. Like, every time I've gone to World Championships, I've done better. So 2009, I came like top 30. 2017, I was like top 20. And then, you know, I'm hoping for the next World Champs, I'm too late for these ones, but for the next ones, you know, I need to chase my scores in the UK, get my scores, and then hopefully be back on the team. And then hopefully we're looking at a top 10 for the World Champs, right?
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk, obviously we talked about a lot of highs, but sport brings a lot of lows and hard moments too. What have been your toughest moments in archery, and how have you overcome them?
They were quite, do you know what, I like being a junior and shooting as a senior was always super tough. I didn't really have that many friends on the team, and I was kind of like pushed out a little bit because I was so young. And similar sort of situation over here. It was quite difficult. shooting against adults. They don't like it when you beat them. So it's kind of, that was quite stifling, and it was difficult to sort of find my footing in the teams because of that. But so anytime there's a junior that comes through, I'm like, you've got this.
Yeah.
Be part of the team. You've got this. Just think of me as Mummy Lucy or like Granny Lucy or whatever. And then the crazy thing is now is that one of the kids who's like, what kid? She's 20. I'm only 30, but like, come on.
Yeah.
But one of the kids now, she like teaches me. She's incredible. She's number one in the world. And it's like, rather like stop that difficulty of like, just let the kids do well. Like, you can still do well as an adult, like as an older adult, but let them come through, support them, because they're probably going to learn stuff that you don't know and you can learn from them.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that was like breaking the cycle. I hope I'm breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
But it was super difficult as a kid. Like, there was not bullying, but like,
was that hard to keep? Was that hard to keep you? Was there moments in your career or back then where you thought, this isn't for me? I don't really want to continue.
Like all the time. Like any trip, I was like, yeah, it was good, I did well, but I've like, oh, I have no friends. Like, all the adults don't like me, and it was really difficult as like a 15, 16, 17-year-old, whatever, to kind of get through that. So, and it's a shame that like adults make you feel that way, because the younger generation is our future, right? So yeah, hopefully sports break the cycle and encourage people, and like, you don't have to be best mates with the kids, but just don't be rude to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about, you mentioned about females, not when you were starting off, there wasn't many. How's that improving now, and has that grown since you've been, well, over the years since you've been taking part?
Honestly, yes, it is so good. So there was this thing about sort of prize money and stuff as well, and they're like, well, there are not enough women that shoot, so you shouldn't get the same prize money and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, women still have to shoot exactly the same amount of arrows, exactly the same distances, like prize money should be the same. I get that there weren't as many women, but now, like, some of the best like followed archers on Instagram are the women, and compound women, and it's so good to see. Like, I like to think that I helped that like like knocking on the door, trying to break open the door for other women. I think now the girls are just like, there is nothing that can stop them. Like, you start as a woman, you're go for it. Like, there's nothing that stops them. It's amazing. So hopefully there'll be more and more women that do archery. I mean, if you look at our Island Games team for Jersey, we had like 3 young women, which is incredible. Usually it's like loads of young boys, but we had loads of young women on the team, and it was like, yes, girls. Obviously we need young men, so any men that want to join, please join. But like, the sport always needs to continue having youth, and hopefully I've helped with the women, and we need young boys to come through as well. We do have a guy who's at uni, he's doing really well, but just hopefully we get loads more.
Brilliant. I want to touch on the Island Games. Obviously just happened, you smashed it. How much did you enjoy that week, and day by day, but also individual medals, but you got team medals as well, and how do they compare?
I don't even think I enjoyed the games. I know that's really bad. I just really wanted 2 gold medals. I was like, I want 2 individual gold medals. So I hustled so hard for these games. Like, at the gym, they were like, "You're gonna train in the gym today?" I was like, "No, I need to shoot. I am off. Goodbye." Like, I was so much time behind the bow. Since COVID as well, I've like had to resort out my nutrition. I'm trying to get my body confidence better, and it's been a proper grind this last year to actually just to kind of get back to that competition mindset. And it helped shooting for Hampshire last September, because I had me and this other a kid, we shouldn't have won, and we battled through and we won. And it felt so similar for the Island Games. It was myself and a guy that I haven't really shot with, and we just he was so calm. He was amazing. So Lloyd was so calm, and he was like, right, I guess we just got a few more hours left. And I was like, yeah, you're right, Lloyd, just a few more hours left. And it was just okay, just two more, just two more. And he was so chill, and as a result we won that first sort of knockout gold medal. And I was like, oh, Jersey, we are here to play. It was incredible. The first day as well, it was based on score, so very much when I was younger, it was a feet round, which has since been kind of discontinued in the world archery stuff. But for the Island Games, it was back, and it's an all-day round. And that first shoot I wanted 1,000 points. Now I'm looking for more 1,400 points. It was crazy windy, and I think we all got 1,300 points, something. It wasn't great weather, but me and the two other boys, our scores were good enough that we won a gold. So we had a little prize given at the end, and they said, Lucy, you won the individual. I was like, thank God, okay, that's one down, one to go. And then they were like, right, teams, and we were just like, right, okay, Guernsey, Faroe Islands, Isle of Man, they're gonna win. And they said Jersey, and we were like, we won a medal in the team. It was incredible. So as much as I didn't enjoy the games for the pressure, I really enjoyed those moments where it's Jersey, yes. The boys did really, really good.
How much, obviously you represent GB, represent Hampshire, how much do you enjoy representing Jersey?
I love it. I love Jersey. Jersey's my home. I've always been a very big ambassador for Jersey. In 2009, I was there. I was the ambassador for Jersey, and even now, before then, after then, I'm Jersey with old Jersey, not the new Jersey. We're an island. We're no France, and I tell everyone across the world who we are, what we are. We're incredible for sport, and I'm so proud of that. The Commonwealth Games as well. Archery in my lifetime has only been in once, 2010. As part of the Jersey team, we got to go to Delhi for the test event, and I won that, which was insane. I shouldn't have won a Commonwealth Games, anything. And I beat an Indian girl on home turf. The Indian crowd were screaming at me to lose, and I beat them. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then that was the first time I've ever heard Beautiful Jersey, our national anthem. And I was like, oh, I don't know what this is. So it was that was amazing. So a Commonwealth Games sort of thing. And then just anytime you hear it, you're like, yes, Jersey, we have a national anthem. We're here. We're a small island. So I love it. I do love it. And then obviously, Great Britain is what everyone wants, right? It's what I still want. I want to be back on the team, but then when I'm on the GB team, I still tell everyone about Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. And it's incredible, just watching you there, reminisce all those moments. And it's incredible how many memories sport can give people, and how many highs as well.
Yeah, and it's such a good learning as well. My first adult trip, El Salvador, I learned a lot about the world that trip. People still had their mums make them pack lunches at 18 years old at school, and I was I've literally traveled the world and seen the slums and had armed guards walk us to competitions. Like, it's very different lifestyle. You know, you grow up quicker, I think, with sports. You learn about the world, and those memories are like core memories. You know, it's like, we should appreciate what we have over here.
Yeah, definitely. Last two questions, Lucy. Firstly, I'm going to ask, what are your goals for the future? Where do you want to go? How far do you want to go in archery? And what are your next upcoming events, kind of?
So it's no surprise, I obviously want to get back on the GB team. COVID absolutely messed things up for me. So not only did my job stop as a personal trainer, I had to go online. It was all a bit of a nightmare, but my clients were brilliant. Like, we were in this room doing workouts with wine bottles and stuff. But it stopped my archery. So I was like, every summer I had like a routine. I'd go to all of the national tours, get my scores, be on the GB team, go to World Cups, get my scores, continue. By having that break, like, funding kind of dried up, because people are like, well, you're not on the GB team, so there's no money. And then you're like, yeah, but I need money to get on the GB team, to go to shoots, to like, so it just, everything kind of stopped. So for me, the new goals are to get some money, go and do the shoots in the UK, try and do really good in the UK, get on the team. I mean, the kids are really good now, so who knows? But, you know, hopefully, I think I was told that I was still sort of top 5 in Britain. So you need to be top 3 to make team, based on scores. So yeah, that's the goal. Get back on the GB team, go for world champs, go for European champs as a test, go to world champs, try and get top 10.
Yeah.
Try and be number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the lifelong dream. Coming 3rd in the world as a kid, I was always like, I want to be first as an adult.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. Like, everyone now is basically a professional. So as a semi-professional, a quarter professional, I'd call myself, because I have my job and I have my life, and I have a mortgage to pay. I'm a quarter professional, I'd say. So to compete against the actual professionals, it's going to be tough, but you know,
you can do it.
That's the goal.
Final question. How much would you encourage people to start archery, be that young, old, just any sort of archery?
Do you know what? We actually had a guy who came to the Commonwealth Games with me, and he started archery in his 40s, I think. He only started because his son wanted to do it. And his son kind of was like, nah, it's not for me. I like cricket, I like rugby, you know. And the dad carried on. And he was so good, Mike was so good, that he ended up coming to the Commonwealth Games and doing incredibly well, and as a recurve male.
Yeah.
And his one thing was, I wish I started archery earlier.
Yeah.
He was like, if I'd started archery in my 10s, 20s, 30s, he's like, I could have been on the GB team. And it's like, yeah, you could have. Like, yeah. But as a result, you know, even now he's starting 40s, like, you still probably get, you know, that there are chances, if you shoot higher scores than anyone else, you're on the team. Yeah. So there is like literally nothing stopping anyone to start archery, even if it's for fun. Like, I started archery because of family, but also because I hated running as a child and wasn't really into sports, and I wanted really good posture, but I didn't really like ballet. So I was like, well, how do I get good posture and have like a kind of really meditative sport like yoga? It's archery. And then obviously I realized I had to run to be good for archery, but never mind. But you know, like, that you don't have to be a sporty person to do archery. You just have to be really like focused, dedicated, like any sport. And you know, like, maybe if you've got a lower body injury, come and do some upper body stuff, come and do some archery, and then, you know, rehab your lower body, see what happens, see if you're good at archery. It is cheaper than guns. Guns have to buy their ammo. We don't. You just pull out your ammo and use it again. So if that helps any of the shooters, if they want to come do archery, it's a bit cheaper. But yeah, honestly, it's a life-changing sport. It's so good.
Yeah. Brilliant. Lucy, thank you for coming on. Been
Thank you so
amazing
much.
to talk about everything you've done, everything you're doing, and yeah, archery in general.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to chat with you and try and promote my sport. It's a
Yeah.
sport.
Brilliant. Right, thank you everyone for watching or listening. Another episode of Sportscast Jersey is coming soon.